Recently, a resurfaced CCTV interview clip has reignited widespread anxiety in society. Zhu Ming, former deputy governor of the People's Bank of China and director of Tsinghua University's National Institute of Financial Research, declared that Chinese housing prices are unlikely to rebound. His words struck like a chilling, piercing bullet, shattering the hopes of many. He cited sobering statistics. Urbanization has exceeded 66%, meaning most people who intended to move to cities already have. Per capita living space now stands at 43 square meters, surpassing Europe's average. The population over 60 comprises 23.8%. The primary home-buying demographic is dwindling, and the number of young people has declined by 56 million. Housing demand is collapsing. Zhu Ming concluded that the real estate market's game of musical chairs has no players left. According to September 2025 data, second-hand home prices nationwide continue to plummet. Beijing saw a 0.6% decline, Shanghai 0.48%, Shenzhen 0.5%, and Guangzhou, after fully lifting purchase restrictions, experienced a staggering 0.97% drop. This is no coincidence. Zhu Ming noted that China's second-hand housing market has been falling for 41 consecutive months, 3.5 years. Why the decline? Zhu Ming outlined 4 critical reasons. First, the urbanization ceiling. With a 66% urbanization rate, there is little room for growth. Japan took a decade to increase its rate by 10 points, and China lacks the momentum to advance further. Second, housing saturation. At 43 square meters per person, China exceeds France and the United Kingdom. Purchasing a home now is about upgrading to a larger one, not meeting essential needs. Third, an aging population. With fewer young people and a growing elderly demographic, demand has dropped sharply. Fourth, overwhelming debt. Household leverage has reached historic highs, with heavy pressure from bank loan repayments. Few can afford a second home.
The logic of real estate has fundamentally shifted. Once driven by investment and speculation, it now relies solely on genuine need. Speculative home sales have plummeted, not due to developers' shortcomings, but because society's appetite for speculation has vanished.
Data from 2024 shows national new home sales revenue fell 21.3% year-on-year, with sales area dropping 26%. Meanwhile, the household savings rate soared to a record 42%. Money is not flowing into the market, it is returning to banks. Over the next 10 to 15 years, China will enter an era of saving. Zhu Ming noted that funds will remain dormant rather than circulate, a statement with profound implications. Saving reflects caution, it signals fear, it indicates a collapse in consumption. The elderly hold over 45% of savings, investing only in wealth management products and government bonds, not stocks. The post-80s middle class is drained by mortgages, burdened by supporting children, parents, and homes. The post-95s and post-00s have largely given up, with living paycheck to paycheck and low-wage jobs becoming the norm. Economist Chu Chenggang warned that China does not lack money, it lacks people willing to spend it. This is the stark reality of deflation. The term deflation sounds measured, but it represents a silent crisis. In 2024, the producer price index fell 2.2%, remaining negative for 2 consecutive years. Goods are cheaper, but people are poorer. Businesses cannot sell, workers go unpaid, and consumer confidence has collapsed. Xu Chenggang noted that China's deflation is not a temporary fluctuation, but a structural failure, rooted in household income comprising only 43% of GDP, well below the 60% average in developed nations. The government and state-owned enterprises take an outsized share of profits, private capital faces declining returns, and a lack of confidence in the future fuels defensive saving. Businesses are also suffering. According to the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, 33% of industrial enterprises were unprofitable in 2024, a level unseen in 2 decades. Behind this figure are countless shuttered factories, unemployed workers, and fleeing business owners.
Zhu Ming offered a stark metaphor. China's wealth structure resembles a pyramid, light at the top crushing those at the bottom. People aged 45 to 69 control over 60% of bank deposits, while those under 35 face an average debt-to-income ratio of 210%. The elderly hoard wealth, while the young are mired in debt. Record high savings are an illusion. Money is concentrated among a few, leaving most unable to save. Ironically, these bank deposits are being borrowed by local governments. Zhu Ming cautioned that the banking system, though seemingly stable, rests on thin ice. The 4 trillion yuan stimulus left a debt snowball that grew into a 40 trillion yuan investment gap. The Ministry of Finance is now issuing 1 trillion yuan in special bonds to address this shortfall. Zhu Ming likened China's central finances to Germany's and local finances to Greece's, an internal debt crisis no one dares acknowledge publicly.
Falling housing prices reflect a broader erosion of societal trust. For 2 decades, Chinese people believed that hard work, home ownership, and loan repayments paved the way to the middle class. Now, homes have become liabilities, and effort feels futile. The collapse of China's property market is not merely an economic event, it is a crisis of trust. When people question the value of buying a home, the entire societal value system wavers. Deflation reduces prices, but a loss of confidence shrinks the nation's assets. This is the reality of China in the autumn of 2025. According to Shell Research Institute's latest figures, in September 2025, second-hand home listings in major cities reached a record 7.3 million, up 41% year-on-year, yet transaction volumes fell 23%. Prices continue to decline, and deals keep shrinking. This is not the precursor to a market rebound, but the onset of a confidence crisis. Homes are no longer symbols of wealth but traps of debt. Deflation's shadow is engulfing every sector. In August 2025, the CPI fell 0.8% year-on-year, negative for 10 consecutive months. People are not spending, businesses are not investing, and funds remain frozen in bank accounts. Central bank data indicates that in the first half of 2025, household deposits grew by 17.4 trillion yuan, another record high. This suggests not an abundance of wealth but a collapse in confidence. Chinese people are becoming unprecedentedly cautious. Young people are forgoing cars, homes, marriage, and children. Food delivery orders are cheaper, milk tea sales are declining, and travel bookings are plummeting. Behind the GDP figures are countless lives on hold. Economist Guan Tao was blunt: deflation is not the true threat, universal panic is. Falling housing prices cause not only buyer anxiety but also strain the entire financial system. By mid-2025, the national mortgage balance dropped to 38.6 trillion yuan, the first decline since 2015, while the non-performing loan ratio rose to 2.3%, a 10-year high. Some banks are quietly tightening mortgage quotas and suspending loans. Even state-owned banks are shedding burdens, with China Construction Bank, Agricultural Bank of China, and Bank of China reporting soaring provisions for bad loans, particularly for real estate at historic highs. The message is clear. They, too, are apprehensive. Meanwhile, the debt crisis among local financing platforms is escalating. Wind data suggests hidden local government debt may exceed 70 trillion yuan, with 40% tied to real estate and infrastructure projects. The Ministry of Finance has initiated special bond swaps, but the scale is insufficient. Economist Ji Yaxuan warned that a further 20% drop in real estate assets could erode a third of bank capital. This is not merely a financial issue, it is a crisis of societal trust. If the layoffs of 2023 were the tip of the iceberg, the middle-class collapse of 2025 is the iceberg's collapse. According to Lipin's 2025 first-half China middle-class employment report, 37% of middle-class workers earning between 200,000 and 500,000 yuan faced pay cuts or furloughs, with finance, real estate and manufacturing hit hardest.
I'm repaying 2 mortgages, 20,000 yuan a month. My wife was laid off, and I may lose my job next month.
A 2025 Chinese Academy of Social Sciences report indicates the household debt-to-income ratio has reached 163%, surpassing the United States and approaching South Korea's. The middle class cannot afford to spend, only to save, locking in the deflationary cycle. Real estate is a barometer of confidence. When confidence fractures, all figures become illusions. From local finances to personal lives, from bank assets to pension funds, everything is tethered to the collapsing tower of housing prices. Some describe China's property market not as a bubble, but as a belief. That belief has now crumbled. In the first half of 2025, real estate-related tax revenue fell 34% year-on-year, and land transfer income plummeted 52%. This marks the end of the land sales fiscal model of the past decade. The collapse of fiscal revenue directly affects education, healthcare, pensions, and infrastructure. Several provinces have reported delayed civil servant salaries, reduced teacher bonuses, and suspended hospital equipment purchases. This is not a localized crisis, but a structural decline.
In a public speech, Zhu Ming offered a profound observation. China's economic challenges lie not in money or policy, but in the dual collapse of confidence and population.
Indeed, confidence is eroding, the population is shrinking, housing prices are falling, and debt is rising. Every indicator signals that China's economic model is being outpaced by time. Thanks for watching and joining us on this journey to unveil China's many layers. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and hit that subscribe button to stay updated. See you in the next video.